Motherfucker! You hit me in the ear!
Well, Jesus, I'm sorry.
Ow! Christ! Why the ear, man?
When people try to explain Fight Club, they say that it's about masculinity, nihilism, anti-capitalism, anti-consumerism, anti-materialism, self-realization, self-indulgence, self-acceptance, and Buddhism of all things. Well, if you keep on going, you'll hit the mark eventually. But the funny thing is, nobody has. All of those ideas are present in the movie, but the movie isn't about them. For example, masculinity, or rather lack of it in men, is mentioned all throughout the movie. I mean, just look at Bob, the bitch-tit guy. He peaked as masculinity beauty ideal by becoming a champion bodybuilder. A peak that didn't last long because the ideal he followed was false. Becoming a bodybuilder doesn't make you more masculine. On the contrary, you sort of treat your body as a woman does, as something that should attract attention. It's an absolutely valid critique, but it's a shallow one. Do you really think that Fight Club became such an icon because we're all so fascinated with male looks? Or because it criticized consumerism, materialism, capitalism? There is something much more deeper than that. What nobody seems to notice is that it's really all about Dionysus.
For 6 months, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. With insomnia, nothing's real. Everything's far away.
The story begins with narrator being unable to sleep for 6 months. While insomnia can be caused by poor sleep habits in the case of narrator, his insomnia is psychomatic. There's a rule in analytical psychology: if an inner situation isn't made conscious, it will happen outside as fate. Insomnia leads narrator to experience a state of mind where nothing seems real. It's his inner situation happening outside as fate. The fact of which he isn't aware of is that he doesn't live his life as his own. He exists in a dreamlike state. He lives in a generic one-size-fits-all apartment stocked up with cost-effective but personless furniture from IKEA. It's obvious that he didn't take his job because he's passionate about insurance. He has no hobbies, no family, or even friends. There's nothing in his life that he does just because he wants to. He lives his life as if it was a dream, and I don't mean it in a good way. In dreams, we become aware of a certain situation. A lot of times it's a ridiculous one, but we just go with it. That's what I mean by saying that he exists in a dreamlike state. His life sucks, but he just goes with it and does nothing to change it.
It used to be that when I came home angry or depressed, I'd just clean my condo, polish my Scandinavian furniture. I should have been looking for a new condo. I should have been haggling with my insurance company. I should have been upset about my nice, neat, flaming little shit. But I wasn't.
The narrator's solution to his empty life is to start collecting stuff, but not just randomly. He's trying to become complete.
I had it all. I had a stereo that was very decent, a wardrobe that was getting very respectable. I was close to being complete.
Shit, man, now it's all gone.
People have a natural impulse to grow, to develop themselves and become complete. For the longest time, these impulses were guided by religious institutions, but things have changed. The marketing people have noticed that there are spiritual desires unmet, and they have their parody of a solution. I couldn't quite figure out why Fight Club chose to pick on IKEA so much, that is, until I watched their ads. I mean, their furniture ads have nothing to do with furniture. Take a look at this.
Lost in the fog, in the heart, in the heart.
Now the question that would come to any sane person is, what the hell does this have to do with furniture? There's no mention of furniture. You can hardly see any furniture at all. What the Church of IKEA is selling isn't furniture. They're selling something which you want even more. A happy life. Anyways, collecting furniture didn't fulfill narrator's life. The first event that got him in the right direction was facing tragedy and death. Well, not directly, but through other people. He went to self-help groups. There's an element of spirituality in them. First of all, people are talking about deep stuff. Then there's the fact that plenty of the meetings happen in a church. And then there's narrator's moment of liberation. He described it as giving up. Might I add, with religious music in the background.
And then, something happened. I let go. Lost in oblivion. Dark and silent and complete.
The experience of enjoying Bob's breasts, or perhaps directing his impulse for self-development from a materialistic end to a spiritual one, choose for yourself, solved his insomnia. The self-help groups might have been the most spiritual thing he has ever done. While it was a step in the right direction, it didn't solve his underlying problem. He was still chasing carrots dangled before his face. What changed was the carrot. Instead of chasing IKEA furniture, now he was chasing self-help groups. He failed to get the message. What made his life shit was the pernicious idea that I need to get this goodie and then, and only then, I will be able to enjoy living. The plot thickened when Marla came into the picture. She popped narrator's delusional bubble of fake spiritual growth. And more importantly, she's a character that isn't chasing carrots. The thing that determines Marla's existence is her attitude towards death.
Marla's philosophy of life is that she might die at any moment. The tragedy, she said, was that she didn't.
She's not a fundamentally unique character. The type of character she represents is the sort that realize that they will die. They try to find something to hold on, but they realize that there is nothing to find. They don't know what to do with their newfound knowledge, and they figure it's just best to be done with it. One of the oldest such characters is Silenus. When Silenus was asked what was most desirable thing among mankind, he answered, "You see the one evil genius and precarious offspring of hard fortune, whose life is but for a day. Why do you compel me to tell you those things of which it is better you should remain ignorant? For he lives with least worry who knows not his misfortune. But for humans, the best for them is not to be born at all, not to partake of nature's excellence, not to be his best. This should be your choice, if choice we have. And then, next to this, when we are born, to die as soon as we can." There's more where that came from. The point though is quite apparent. Marla and Silenus both espouse a morality where they would prefer to die as soon as possible. Their thought process goes something like this. No matter how much IKEA furniture I collect, or self-groups I visit, wealth I gather, women I sleep with, no matter what, I will die. So what's the point of chasing things if at the end, all of it will mean nothing? They can't find an answer, and since they approach life from a negative point of view, they conclude that it's best to be just done with it. You could also look at it from the opposite direction. In the intro I said that Fight Club is all about Dionysus, and it truly is. In order to cut the foreplay, Dionysus and Tyler are essentially the same character. They are so similar in fact, that it's as if somebody was trying to create Tyler from what he found from studying Dionysus. Traditionally, Dionysus Eleutherius, also referred to as the Liberator, is an ancient Greek god of wine, music and dance. He frees his followers from self-conscious fear and fights against the oppressive restraints of the powerful. I think people tend to focus on the wine too much. He's much more about the state wine gets you in. When you're drunk, you stop being self-conscious. Instead, you start to go with the moment. Therefore, I prefer to expand Dionysus to be the god of intoxication with the object, the god of the moment. Anything that gets you to forget yourself and truly experience the present moment is the experience of the Dionysian spirit. As you can see, there are many similarities between Tyler and Dionysus. Dionysus is referred to as the liberator, and if you paid careful attention, then you'll remember that so is Tyler.
Tell him the liberator who destroyed my property has realigned my perception.
Dionysus is against civilization, so is Tyler.
Enemies.
Reject the basic assumption of civilization, especially the importance of material possessions.
Dionysus offers a way to stop being self-conscious and get people in the present moment with the help of wine, music, and dance. Tyler achieves the same effect with fighting.
You weren't alive anywhere like you were there.
Dionysus insists on experiencing the moment, so does Tyler.
It's the greatest moment of your life, man, and you're off somewhere miserable. I am not.
Both of them are wanderers, both of them don't care about status, both of them are against the powerful, both of them have death-loving sidekicks. They are essentially the same character. Tyler is the modern-day equivalent of Dionysus. Dionysus and Tyler stem from the same realization as Silenus and Marla does. The realization of the inevitable end, but instead of being upset about it, he rejoices.
First you have to know, not fear, know that someday you're gonna die.
You don't know how this feels!
It's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything.
He sees death as freeing if you truly realize that you're going to die. Not just hear the words, but truly get it. Then you realize that there's nothing to hold on. There's nothing in the future that will save you. So the proposal from Dionysus and Tyler is, you're going to die. In the face of death, what could possibly compel you to continue your miserable existence as it is? Anything would be better. Make a change, live out your own nature, enjoy your life, and if you're going to die as a consequence of your daring, well, it was going to happen anyway. At least as long as you lived your life as your own.
On a long enough timeline, the survival rate for everyone drops to 0.
Pretty much everyone who has tried explaining Fight Club gets too fixed upon capitalism, materialism, consumerism, on the context of the movie. The character of Tyler is much broader than that. As he himself said, he's against civilization, and for a good reason. Rules, or any form of control, stand in the way of individuals' desires. There's nothing else that imposes as much control on people as civilizations do. What they inevitably do is create a bunch of systems of control. You could have made Fight Club in a different context and the same problem would remain. If you had made Fight Club in the context of the Soviet Union back in 1980s, the most anti-capitalist place ever, do you think that Tyler would be holding a sickle in one hand and a hammer in the other and paddling the line of the Soviet Union like a good little boy? Socialist states oppress people just as much as capitalist states do. It's just that different kind of people are oppressed. The problem doesn't lay in the system of wealth distribution, political organization, or in any specific cultural values. It lays in the fact that civilizations expand. They become bigger, more intrusive, less tolerant of deviation, and harder to escape. Civilizations become so dominant into people's lives that people become all about shit that's valued in the cult of their own birth. That's the problem, that's what Tyler is against. That's where people were in 1997 when Fight Club was created, and that's where we're at right now. That's why Fight Club is such an iconic movie and isn't going anywhere.